Winston Churchill, one of the 20th century's most prominent statesmen, also left behind a large body of writing. His works include an autobiography in which he describes his adventurous years as an officer and war correspondent, a comprehensive biography of his ancestor, the first Duke of Marlborough, and a multi-volume work about the First and Second World Wars. A healthy body is a sign of a healthy mind, while unhealthy body weakness one's ability to succeed and excel in life. However, there is this stigma about mental health. To be healthy also include mental health, but people do not consider mental disorders as an issue. Psychological well-being is as equally important as physical well-being. When people criticize mental illness, it instantly creates an adverse impact. As soon as Abraham Lincoln was elected President of USA in 1860, Southern states like Carolina, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana and Texas separated from the Union. They established the Confederate States of America. When the Confederates fired on Fort Sumter, President Lincoln declared blockade of Southern ports and the Civil War began in 1861. The president made a proclamation for emancipation of slaves. The Renaissance, or the revival of classical Greco-Roman learning, inspired and encouraged people to question and challenge long-established ideas and institutions that had been imposed on them by the Church and their kings. They refused to blindly accept the dictates of their rulers and the Church. They demanded to know the truth based on logic and reason and rejected everything that did not satisfy the yardstick of reason. The float switch is an innovative device mounted on the tank which automatically controls the water supply. If the rainwater tank is full, it will automatically pump the rainwater for use in the garden or washing machine. If the rainwater tank is empty or when there is a dry spell and water in the tank falls to the minimum level, the floating switch triggers the use of the normal mains water. The angle of deviation produced by a prism depends on the refractive index of the material of prism. The refractive index of material of prism is different for different colors of light because the speed of different colors is different inside the prism. Thus, the light of different colors is deviated through different angles, by a prism. The question hour, calling attention notices and half-an-hour discussion are some of the devices to seek information from the government about its policies and performance in various spheres. Of these the most important is the question hour. The first hour of a sitting in both houses is allotted for asking and answering of questions. The purpose of the questions is to obtain information on a matter of public importance or to ventilate a grievance. The gallery offers an exceptional selection of original paintings, multimedia work, glass and sculpture. The gallery has 2 locations in the Hilton Resort and Spa and the Four Seasons Whistler Resort. The resort itself attracts over 2 million visitors each year and is often rated as top ski resort in North America. Whistler Contemporary Gallery has been in the art business since 1992 and works with first-time and experienced buyers to build their collections. Having a real passion for the people they work with and a desire to spread art into the heart of the city, Landmark Street Art is always looking for an opportunity to engage with parts of the community that traditionally do not visit galleries. As Heslop explains, street art and public art is a really great vessel for this as they are not expecting to see it and can engage and interact with it while going about their daily business. Every generation is told by the elders that the good old days were the best. But right from the days after the industrialization and urbanization, rampant imitation or adulteration of everything is heard of more often by the younger people. Whether it is finished goods or eatables, there is substandard stuff everywhere.
The exosphere is mainly composed of extremely low densities of hydrogen, helium and several heavier molecules, including nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. The atoms and molecules are so far apart that the exosphere no longer behaves like a gas, and the particles constantly escape into space. These free-moving particles follow ballistic trajectories and may migrate in and out of the magnetosphere or with the solar wind. Volcanoes are Earth's geologic architects. They've created more than 80% of our planet's surface, laying the foundation that has allowed life to thrive. Their explosive force crafts mountains as well as craters. Lava rivers spread into bleak landscapes. But as time ticks by, the elements break down these volcanic rocks, liberating nutrients from their stony prisons and creating remarkably fertile soils that have allowed civilizations to flourish. Sleep disorders is the collective name for all troubles with sleep, and understanding what they are is the best way to find out if your loved one may be struggling with one. One of the most commonly known sleep disorder is insomnia, which is not measured by the amount of sleep a person loses, but rather by how that influences their daily tasks negatively. Hypersomnia, or oversleeping, may not be talked about so often, but it is just as serious. Avocados are a stone fruit with a creamy texture that grow in warm climates. Their potential health benefits include improving digestion, decreasing risk of depression, and protection against cancer. Also known as an alligator pear or butterfruit, the versatile avocado is the only fruit that provides a substantial amount of healthy monounsaturated fatty acids. The debate over whether students should wear school uniforms has been going on for more than a decade. While some people argue uniforms have a positive impact on the school environment, others fear they prevent kids from expressing themselves through their clothing choices. The research on school uniforms is often mixed. While some schools have found uniforms to be beneficial, other research has found that they have little effect. Leukocytes are further classified into two subcategories called granulocytes, which consist of neutrophils, eosinophils and basophils, and agranulocytes, which consist of lymphocytes and monocytes. The formed elements can be separated from plasma by centrifuge, where a blood sample is spun for a few minutes in a tube to separate its components according to their densities. India is the fifth largest economy in the world, with a GDP of $2.87 trillion in 2019, more than 4% higher than in 2018. Because of its large population, India has the lowest per capita GDP on our list. India's economy is a mixture of traditional village farming and handicrafts alongside booming modern industry and mechanized agriculture. The abundance and dynamics of a population place an important constraint on fisheries, but aquatic populations do not live in isolation. They exist as components of a frequently complex ecosystem, consisting of biological components which may feed on, be fed on by, or compete with a given stock or population. There are several layers of stakeholders that include upper management who both direct and finance the endeavor, champions of the process, and those who are directly charged with instituting the new normal. All have different expectations and experiences, and there must be a high level of buy-in from across the spectrum. The process of onboarding the different constituents varies with each change framework, but all provide plans that call for the time, patience, and communication. The Himalayas is the highest mountain range in the world, and has 9 out of 10 of the world's highest peaks, including Mount Everest. These mountains, referred to as the Third Pole, are the source of some of Asia's major rivers and also help to regulate our planet's climate. For centuries, people here have developed a unique culture that weaves nature and people together into the same fabric of life.